Hello, plant enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have an exciting topic to delve into: plant tissues and their types. Whether you're a budding botanist or just curious about the world of plants, this video will provide you with valuable insights into the fascinating world of plant tissues. So, let's get started. To begin, let's understand what plant tissues are. Plant tissues are groups of cells that work together to perform specific functions within a plant. Just like our organs work together in our body, plant tissues are the building blocks that enable plants to grow, develop, and thrive. Now, let's explore the main types of plant tissues. There are two primary categories: meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. First, let's talk about meristematic tissues. These are undifferentiated, actively dividing cells responsible for plant growth. There are two main types of meristematic tissues: apical meristems and lateral meristems. Now, let's move on to permanent tissues. These are mature, specialized cells that have lost their ability to divide but perform specific functions within the plant. Again, there are two categories of permanent tissues: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues consist of one type of cell and can be categorized into three main types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissues, on the other hand, consist of more than one type of cell. The two primary types of complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. Now that we've covered the main types of plant tissues, let's discuss how these tissues come together to form tissue systems. There are three tissue systems in plants: the dermal tissue system, the ground tissue system, and the vascular tissue system. Let's discuss all of them in detail one by one. Ever wondered how those tiny seeds become towering trees? Well, the secret lies in the world of meristematic tissues. Let's start at the very beginning. What on earth are meristematic tissues? Meristematic tissues are like the superheroes of the plant world. They are specialized plant cells responsible for growth, development, and the production of new cells. Here's a mind-blowing fact: meristematic tissues are the reason plants can grow throughout their lives. But where exactly do we find these growth powerhouses? Time to distinguish between the two main types: apical meristems and lateral meristems. Apical meristems, like the root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem, are found at the tips of roots and shoots. They're responsible for primary growth. Meanwhile, lateral meristems, such as the vascular cambium and cork cambium, reside along the sides of stems and roots, driving secondary growth. But how do these lateral meristems work their magic? Get this: lateral meristems make plants bulk up. They're the reason why trees can grow wider year after year. Let's uncover the secret behind meristematic tissues' power. Cell division. These remarkable cells are like perpetual motion machines, constantly undergoing mitosis and giving birth to new cells. Here's a question for you: what sets meristematic cells apart from their more laid-back plant cell counterparts? Let's explore the two flavors of meristematic tissues: primary and secondary meristems. Primary meristems lay the foundation for primary tissues, while secondary meristems step in to create secondary growth. Did you know that the rings in tree trunks are a result of secondary growth by the vascular cambium? Counting these rings can reveal the age of a tree. These meristematic tissues aren't just passive players, they're masters of growth manipulation. The activity of meristematic tissues is meticulously choreographed by factors like hormones, light, temperature, and genetics. But which of these factors is the true puppet master? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And there you have it, the mesmerizing world of meristematic tissues, where growth never stops, and mysteries abound. And now let's discuss permanent tissues one by one. Ever wondered how plants protect themselves and communicate with the world? Or how do they breathe? The answers might surprise you. We'll reveal them in just a bit, so stay tuned. We're diving into the fascinating world of dermal tissue in plants, and trust me, you're in for a blooming good time. First, let's peel back the layers and talk about the structure of dermal tissue. Did you know that the epidermal cells are like the skin of the plant? They're flat and elongated, forming a continuous layer that wraps around the plant like a protective hug. And speaking of protection, here's a fun fact. That shiny layer on the surface, the cuticle, is like a plant's sunscreen. It's made of waxy substances and helps keep the plant hydrated and safe from scorching sun and harmful microbes. Now, let's unlock the secrets of dermal tissue's functions. Ever wondered how plants breathe? Well, they do it through these tiny, mysterious openings called stomata. But here's a question for you. How do plants decide when to open and close these stomata to balance photosynthesis and prevent water loss? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's talk about water management. Can you guess how much water a plant can lose in a single day through transpiration? It's a staggering amount, and I'm about to reveal the answer. On a scorching hot day, a single plant can lose hundreds of liters of water through transpiration. But wait, there's more. Dermal tissue comes with some remarkable specialized structures. Ever heard of plant hairs? These are trichomes. They come in various shapes and sizes, and they're like the plant's fashion statement. But did you know they can also serve as defense mechanisms? Some even secrete sticky substances to trap unsuspecting prey. But let's not forget about the roots. Root hairs are like the plant's very own water-absorbing tentacles. Here's a challenge. Can you guess how much the surface area of a plant's roots increases with the help of these root hairs? The answer might surprise you. The surface area of a plant's roots can increase by hundreds or even thousands of times, thanks to these tiny root hairs. And in the world of woody plants, cork cells are like nature's armor. They replace the epidermis as the plant grows, ensuring it stays protected and insulated. It's like a superhero costume change. Plants are the ultimate survivors, adapting to their environments in remarkable ways. Check this out. Desert plants have evolved thick cuticles and unique adaptations to thrive in scorching deserts. But here's the burning question. How do they conserve water in such harsh conditions? The answer is in their remarkable ability to limit water loss. Their thick cuticles act like a barrier, reducing water evaporation from their leaves. Additionally, many desert plants open their stomata at night when it's cooler, reducing water loss during the hottest part of the day. Some even have specialized water storage tissues, like succulent stems and leaves, to store water for times of drought. These adaptations are like nature's own desert survival kit, allowing these plants to thrive where few others can. Now, let's dive into the world of aquatic plants. They're like the aqua men of the plant world. But here's a puzzler. How do they manage to exchange gases and thrive underwater without drowning? The secret lies in specialized structures called parenchyma and lenticels. These structures create air channels that allow oxygen to reach submerged roots and other parts of the plant, ensuring they stay afloat and healthy. And then there are the plant predators. Carnivorous plants have some of the coolest adaptations. But can you guess how they lure, catch, and devour their unsuspecting prey? It's a real-life plant mystery. We're diving to the world of ground tissue, a critical component of plant anatomy. Ground tissue is one of the three main types of plant tissues, alongside dermal and vascular tissues. It makes up the bulk of a plant's body and plays various essential roles. But here's a question for you. How much of a plant's body is actually composed of ground tissue? Ground tissue is composed of various types of cells, including parenchyma cells, collenchyma cells, and sclerenchyma cells. First up, let's talk about parenchyma cells. These cells have unique characteristics, like their isodiametric shape and thin primary cell walls. Parenchyma cells are often referred to as the workhorse cells of a plant because they perform various functions, including photosynthesis, storage, and wound healing. Some parenchyma cells, often referred to as chlorenchyma, are responsible for the green color in certain plant tissues, such as the flesh of green apples. Ground tissue cells, especially parenchyma cells, can differentiate and turn into stem cells under certain conditions, allowing them to contribute to plant regeneration and repair. In some desert-adapted plants, parenchyma cells in the root cortex can store water to sustain the plant during periods of drought. Now, moving on to collenchyma cells. These cells have elongated shapes and unevenly thickened primary walls, especially at the corners. These cells are important for young, growing plant parts. Collenchyma cells are often found just below the epidermis and provide flexible support to young stems and leaves, allowing them to bend without breaking as the plant reaches for the sun. Last but not least, sclerenchyma cells. The term sclerenchyma is derived from the Greek words skleros means hard and enchyma means tissue, aptly describing the function of these cells in providing hardness and rigidity to plant structures. These cells are specialized with thick secondary walls made of lignin, making them rigid and tough. These cells act as plant bodyguards. Their tough walls protect plant tissues from herbivores and pathogens. Sclerenchyma cells have some of the strongest cell walls in the plant kingdom, and they contribute to the toughness of materials like coconut husks and the shells of various nuts. Ground tissue is distributed throughout the plant body, but its composition and functions can change as the plant matures. That's why woody plants need more sclerenchyma cells than herbaceous plants. In herbaceous plants, you'll find more parenchyma cells, while woody plants have a mix of all three cell types, forming the pith and cortex. This change in composition supports their transition from flexibility to strength as they mature. Understanding ground tissue is vital for comprehending how plants grow and adapt. And here's a fun fact to wrap things up. Did you know that some plants can adjust the composition of their ground tissue in response to environmental conditions, and in most plants, ground tissue typically makes up around 90% or more of the plant's total volume. The diversity of ground tissue adaptations across different plant species is a testament to the incredible versatility and adaptability of plants to various environments and ecological niches. Plant vascular tissues are the lifelines of plants, responsible for transporting water, nutrients, and organic compounds throughout the entire plant structure. Vascular bundles have been around for hundreds of millions of years. They are a key innovation in plant evolution, allowing plants to grow taller and adapt to various environments. Before we dive into xylem and phloem, let's explore how these vital tissues develop. Vascular tissues originate from meristematic cells, particularly in the apical meristems and lateral meristems, like the vascular cambium. Now, let's discuss xylem tissues. Understanding xylem is key to comprehending how plants grow, thrive, and adapt to their environments. From towering trees to delicate wildflowers, xylem tissues are an essential part of the botanical world. Xylem cells in vascular bundles are like the plant's plumbing system, responsible for transporting water and dissolved minerals from the roots to the rest of plant. The water can move at incredible speeds, sometimes exceeding 100 meters per hour in tall trees, making it one of the fastest elevators on Earth. Xylem consists of several key cell types, including tracheids, vessel elements, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Tracheids are long, tapering cells that make up a significant portion of the xylem in most vascular plants. They have thick walls and small, overlapping pits. These cells are highly specialized for water transport and provide structural support to the plant. Vessel elements, on the other hand, are wider and shorter cells with perforated end walls. These perforations, called vessel perforation plates, allow for more efficient water flow between cells. Vessel elements are characteristic of angiosperms, or flowering plants. Xylem parenchyma cells are associated with the xylem and are often found interspersed among the tracheids and vessel elements. Unlike tracheids and vessel elements, xylem parenchyma cells retain their nuclei and are involved in various metabolic functions, including storage and repair. Xylem fibers are long, thick-walled cells that provide structural support to the plant. They are typically found alongside tracheids and vessel elements. These fibers add strength to the plant's xylem, helping it withstand mechanical stress. These various xylem components work in synergy to transport water and dissolved minerals efficiently throughout the plant. Xylem is typically located at the center of the stem and roots. Water and minerals are transported through xylem vessels due to transpiration and cohesion tension mechanisms. In some plants, like bamboo, the vascular bundles are particularly large and efficient. Bamboo can transport water and nutrients at an astonishing rate, which helps it grow rapidly, sometimes up to 1 meter per day. Xylem cells have thick walls reinforced with lignin, making them strong and rigid. In some trees, like the giant sequoia, the xylem can be so sturdy that it provides natural resistance against rot and decay, allowing these trees to live for thousands of years. Let's shift our focus towards phloem tissues, one of the unsung heroes of the plant kingdom. Have you ever wondered how plants transport the essential nutrients they produce through photosynthesis to various parts of their bodies? Well, it's all thanks to the incredible phloem tissue. In this video, we'll be exploring its structure, function, and the remarkable way it sustains life in the plant world. Phloem is responsible for transporting organic compounds, primarily sugars, from the leaves to other parts of the plant. While xylem cells are typically dead at maturity, phloem cells in vascular bundles remain alive. They maintain their metabolic activity to support the movement of sugars throughout the plant, akin to a living transportation system. Phloem consists of sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Sieve tube elements are the main functional cells of the phloem. They are elongated, tube-like cells that form the conduits for transporting sugars and other organic compounds throughout the plant. These cells have specialized sieve plates with perforations that allow for the movement of nutrients between cells. Companion cells are closely associated with sieve tube elements and play a crucial role in supporting their metabolic activities. They maintain their nuclei and are responsible for providing energy and nutrients to the sieve tube elements, ensuring the efficient transport of sugars. Phloem parenchyma cells are dispersed throughout the phloem tissue and serve various functions. These cells store starch and other substances, participate in metabolic processes, and help maintain phloem integrity. Phloem fibers are long, slender cells that provide structural support to the phloem tissue. Their strong walls enhance the overall stability of the phloem and help resist mechanical stresses. These various components of phloem work in harmony to transport sugars and other organic compounds efficiently throughout the plant. Phloem functions through a process called translocation, where sugars are actively transported from source to sink tissues. This happens thanks to the pressure flow mechanism, with companion cells supporting the metabolic functions of sieve tube elements. Now, let's delve into the differences between phloem versus xylem. These two tissues are crucial for a plant's survival. Phloem and xylem are specialized tissues found in plants, responsible for the transportation of essential substances. Think of them as the plant's circulatory system. But here's the catch: they have distinct roles. Xylem is like the plant's water highway. It primarily transports water and minerals from the roots to the rest of the plant. These tissues are made up of dead cells with lignin walls, creating a sturdy and rigid structure. This structural feature helps support the plant. Phloem, on the other hand, is all about moving food. It transports the products of photosynthesis, such as sugars and other organic compounds, from the leaves where they are produced to other parts of the plant for growth, storage, or energy. One of the key differences between phloem and xylem lies in the types of cells they are composed of. Xylem cells are mostly dead at maturity, forming long, hollow tubes, while phloem cells are alive and actively involved in the transportation process. Another significant difference is the direction of transport. Xylem primarily transports water and minerals upward, from the roots to the leaves. So it's a one-way flow, while phloem transports organic compounds in both directions, up and down the plant. So, how do these differences impact plant growth? Xylem's role in water transport is crucial for maintaining turgidity and supporting the plant's structure, while phloem's transport of sugars and nutrients is essential for growth, reproduction, and energy production. In conclusion, phloem and xylem are like the dynamic duo of a plant's vascular system, working together to ensure its survival and growth. While xylem focuses on water and mineral transport, phloem takes care of the plant's food distribution. Plant vascular tissues are organized into vascular bundles, which may vary in arrangement between monocots and dicots. For example, in monocots like grasses, they are scattered throughout the stem, whereas in dicots like trees, they are arranged in a ring. Plus, the vascular bundles are crucial for both primary and secondary growth in plants. Primary growth is responsible for the plant's initial growth in length, while secondary growth, mainly driven by the vascular cambium, increases the plant's girth. Keep in mind that the structure and activity of xylem and phloem can vary among plant species. For example, in deciduous trees, the activity of vascular bundles changes with the seasons. During winter, the xylem may slow down to conserve water, while in the spring, it revs up to transport water needed for new leaf growth. Moreover, some desert plants have developed specialized vascular bundles that allow them to store water efficiently. These adaptations help them survive in harsh, water-scarce environments. And there you have it, a comprehensive overview of plant tissues, from their development to their components, functions, and how they support plant life. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and also press the bell icon for more videos about science and biology.